I mentioned in my last video that I talk a bit more about my mother, Disney, and movies. So, growing up, and still to this day, one of my mother's favorite movies was The Wizard of Oz. She watches it whenever she gets a chance. She gets involved in every remake and retelling of the classic story. So she's a big Wicked fan. And when Oz was first announced, she became so excited you can't even imagine. And at first I was too, because I inherited the love of the classic tale from her. I love all the aspects of it, and I tried to keep up with all the mythology, all the remakes too. But the more I learned about this movie, the more wary I became, because right off the bat, I don't like James Franco. I'm not a huge fan of, I think it's pronounced Mila Kunis. I apologize if I got it wrong. I just didn't see them. I don't see them as very good actors, I'll be honest. But I thought I'd see the movie anyway because of our mutual love of the Oz mythology. And my mother enjoyed it. She loved it. She loves when people go all out for scenery. And she thought it was a fantastic homage to the stories we know. But for me, I was troubled. Obviously, this story, this adaptation, stayed more faithful to the movie than it was to the books, which is always a little bit of an issue with me. There are some hints of book acknowledgement, but unless you've actually read the books, you wouldn't catch them. I think the biggest problem for me, okay, there's several big problems. I'll try to address them one at a time. First off, we got the monkey. We got evil monkeys and we got good monkeys. I didn't think it wasn't really established at all why we have a good monkey among all the bad ones. Like, did he defect? Or was it a spell? It wasn't really made established, and I didn't really see why he was a character at all. He was the live action version of a funny animal sidekick, which is extremely unnecessary. I mean, I get that he was supposed to be represented his best friend, but it just seems so shoehorned and pointless. And much the same was with the China girl doll, whatever. At first I really liked her, because she was sensitive, and my heart really went out to her. But when she turned into a whiny brat, like, why'd you have to go and ruin her like that? Why'd you have to make her so annoying? Like, why couldn't she just be a sweet, calm little girl who happens to be made of China? Did not see why you had to stress that. Another thing I didn't like was the, really to me, forced romance between Oz and Glinda. If this is supposed to be a prequel to the movie, are we to assume that, like, 50 or so years from now, when Oz is an old man, he and Glinda are still getting it on, while she's, like, immortal, and that this huge secret has been kept, the huge secret has obviously been kept for years. I mean, that's continuity no matter where you go. But it seems much more difficult when you take this movie into perspective, because there were so many people involved in the deception. So, it's just really hard to believe that they would keep it up for so many years. I didn't believe the romance at all. I was, in fact, rolling my eyes at the ending when they were kissing. It was so much of a cliche, so forced. And let's face it, Oz was an asshole. And I'm okay with asshole characters. I'm okay with characters you're supposed to hate, because they can be fun sometimes. But he wasn't fun. You I couldn't really believe his face heel turn. I couldn't really believe when his intentions were good. It just, maybe it was the writing, maybe it was James Franco's acting, but either way, he wasn't a very believable character to me. And his transformation wasn't believable. This is probably taking a lot out of what was a children's story. Or really a children's movie. But I kind of felt like my intelligence was insulted sometimes. There were so many unnecessary things, like the whole waterfall sequence. It went on longer than it really needed to. And the explanation of the witches. I think if they really wanted to make really good homages and really huge, oh my god, just like in that movie, kind of moments, I think we should have stressed more on the fate of the Wicked Witches, because I wanted to see the black and white stockings. I wanted to see the ruby slippers. We have the ruby ring, but that just didn't seem enough for me, I guess. And I remember before seeing this movie, I was actually kind of excited because, to me, you have two wicked witches, you have one good witch. I was thinking, well, there's obviously got to be a fourth witch, good or bad. Maybe she'll be the ultimate wicked one, or maybe she'll die in the movie, and that's why we never see her later on. And we got nothing. That disappointed me so much, that you had such a huge opportunity and you didn't take it. I know in the original movie there wasn't a fourth witch, but in the books there was, and you could have used this movie to not only create her character, but make her death maybe meaningful and poignant. Maybe make her the reason why Oz decides to be a good guy for once. But again, the chance wasn't taken, and I was disappointed greatly. So, I tried to express some of these things to my mother, but she didn't pay that much attention. She thought I was taking too much out of it. And I can't blame her, I do tend to overthink things. But I believe if you're going to create a prequel to one of the most well-known stories and movies of all time, then you really not only have to do your research, you have to make the best effort you can. You have to take every possible chance. But I will, I think I probably should end this with a good point. Like I said before, I did not expect a lot from Mila Kunis. Again, apologies if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But I was deeply and wonderfully surprised by her acting. When she transformed into the Wicked Witch, her tears, her anger, her softness, all of these ranges, I thought it was fantastic acting. I did not expect that from her, and I was really grateful for this surprise. I was amazed by the transformation. I was a little disappointed that she couldn't have made more ugly, but I guess in years I will take care of that. But I feel like I should apologize to her personally for having such a low opinion of her in this movie until I actually saw it. So, there goes me. I'm sorry. So if she does appear in more movies, I will definitely give her more of a chance. But as I said, I'm gonna end it with a good point. So thank you, Mila or Mila, however it's pronounced. Again, apologies. And those are my thoughts on Oz.